Excellencies, Eminences, global colleagues, and if I can invoke an African tradition and say all protocols observed. Louise, Steve, the Global Foundation team, thank you for the opportunity, and for me it is a great privilege to speak today. I'll keep it relatively short. I'd also like to acknowledge former Prime Minister of Australia, Kevin Rudd, who will reflect on politics, global trade and social cohesion, or lack thereof at times. Pascal Lamy, a wonderful advocate on economics and a common sense global commentator and observer. And again, to acknowledge the great cross-section of faith and other community and business leaders that we have here with us today, and a special welcome to Cardinal George Pell. We are charting a course towards an inclusive global future, and we all have an important role to play. COVID has reinforced the fact that we each learn from generation to generation. Big crises go beyond country borders. They go beyond racial and religious divides and class divides. They even go beyond, if there is any such thing as simple economics, which Pascal will obviously try and hold our hands and help us through. We have far-reaching challenges for which we need far-reaching solutions. We need to respond decisively and at scale, to think bigger, not smaller. We must also be clear on our focus and our messaging. We are all acting for the common good. As business, we need to heed calls for what some are calling capitalism 2.0. We generally believe that economic enterprise is the most effective and demonstrably successful way of lifting people out of poverty, and it can bring about meaningful existence for many. But we also know it can lead to inequality and social tension. So we must address the reality of whether the fair deal exists or exists enough in the circumstances of crisis, that all stakeholders and not just shareholders see returns, that all believe that business is being open and accountable, paying its taxes where it should, and building a sense of purpose, well-being and pride in its workforce and its local and broader-based communities. From our perspective, the Biden victory in the US should give the world back a more constructive US voice. But there remains what Ian Bremmer from the Eurasia Group calls the risk of a G0 world, where nobody is looking out for the wider good. I'm not knocking nationalism or populism as such. Narrower local interests need to be recognised. But we need policies and practices that are socially and economically sustainable, and we need to build platforms between business and civil society that can help deliver a longer term and more constructive social contract. We've recently held 2 days of business and faith group interaction in South Africa and the UK. I was very pleased with the high level of attendance, particularly from fellow mining CEOs, and many have written since saying they want to be involved going forward. We're also looking to develop these dialogues in Latin America. We have operations in Brazil, Chile, Peru and Colombia, all countries badly hit by COVID and having to face some fundamental questions. Chile is revisiting the whole constitution after riots in the streets from last year. The country was a textbook economic success story, but people were very clearly dissatisfied. Why? We need to reassess our assumptions and make links that haven't been made well up till now. And certainly the activities of the Global Foundation are supporting the establishment of new links and new connections. Our response, as per the title of the foundation, should be global. The Australian angle is always welcome To me, of course, given my background, but also because the issues brought up by COVID affect all countries, and we can't just try to cover over the cracks in our broader social landscape and return to where we were before the crisis. Australia has a robust culture of addressing issues head-on while not hiding or letting others hide. None of us should be citadels on hills or minds behind big fences. Our values need to be seen and practiced and challenged in full view. Anglo-American has a strong tradition of not ducking issues. We responded proactively to COVID through our We Care program. This program has had the extra benefit of reinforcing trust with stakeholders, including our host governments. Sometimes it takes a crisis to make us recognise our mutual independence. We stood up in the past, particularly in South Africa, on HIV/AIDS. I'm proud to say that we're also standing up on the issue, exacerbated by COVID, of gender violence or gender-based violence. Our sustainable mining program is based on all 3 ESG pillars and the full range of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. We want to be the world's most valued mining company, whereby value is measured by all stakeholders and not simply on a balance sheet or a profit and loss statement. In our case, our purpose of reimagining mining to improve people's lives sits very comfortably with the Global Foundation and its focus on reimagining the world as a place where we can all make a difference. I'm looking forward to participating today with all of my colleagues and certainly hope that I can make some difference in the conversations. Thank you for